Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today in this video, we would be looking at how to install Terraform, Packer, and Ansible inside the Jenkins container. Now, if you have seen our previous videos, we prefer to run Jenkins on the Jenkins Docker containers so that it can be easily handled and upgraded if needed. So today we would be adding some packages inside that Docker container. And to do that, we would be actually creating a Docker file for it. So let's actually look at the Docker file. I am taking the Jenkins/Jenkins LTS image. So this is the default official Jenkins image that we would be using, or we have been using in the previous videos as well. On top of that, what we would be doing is we will be switching to the root user so that the installation happens without any errors or permission issues. Next, we would be doing apt-get updates. This is to update the repositories and install if there is any updates needed. And we would be installing packages like unzip, curl, gpgs, python 3, Python 3 pip, and the Python 3.11 virtual environment. Now, this Python 3.11 virtual environment is needed to install Ansible on our containers, and the Python 3 module would come in handy again for the installation of Ansible because Ansible actually runs on Python, and the latest version is 3.11 as of this recording. Now, Now that the dependency or the necessary packages are installed, we would be installing Terraform. Now the Terraform installation steps are directly from the Terraform installation guide or available on the Terraform webpage. So we would get something similar when it comes to Terraform installation steps for Debian. Now, Jenkins/Jenkins LTS is actually a Debian based container, and to confirm that, you could actually run this with a bash and do a cat for the container that is the type of OS that is running inside the container. So what I do is docker run -it this, and we would go in with bash. So it says that the LTS image is not found locally, so we would actually be installing it or downloading it from the internet. There's a typo in bash, so we would have to run this command again, and this container would actually fail. Internet speeds seem to be okay. The download has completed. The extraction of the layers of the image are now in progress, and we should be able to see an error message or the container failing in about few seconds. I'll just change it to bash, and if you do a cat etc os release on this image, so you see that this is a Debian GNU Linux 12, and for all Debian based instances, the package manager that we use to install software is apt. So what we would be doing is we would be getting the latest GPG keys of the HashiCorp release, and we would add it to the apt keys. And once the key has been added, we would be adding the HashiCorp release repo URL into the apt configurations, and then we would be installing a Terraform. We will be doing an apt-get to install Terraform on the machine. Something similar. Now, Packer also is from HashiCorp, so we would be following a similar release pattern wherein we will be getting the GPG keys. Now, these are the same GPG keys that we'll be getting here, but these two lines are exactly similar. So what we can do is instead of repeating the same steps again and again, we could directly do the apt installation in Packer because the GPG key and the repository has already been added. So we would directly be doing an apt get update and a Packer install. Now let's come to the Ansible installation. Ansible installation actually happens via the pip, that is the Python 3 version of it. So for that, we would be first be creating a virtual environment, and inside that we'll be doing a pip install. We would be first upgrading pip using the command pip install upgrade pip, and once pip is upgraded, we would be installing Ansible and Ansible lint. Ansible lint is needed for the running of Ansible on this machine. Now, once this is done, these steps would be needed. So we would have to add the Ansible to the virtual and the path of the environment variables so that Ansible can be used from anywhere inside the container. Now, once that is done, this image comes out to be really huge because of all the apt-get updates and everything. So what we would be doing is to reduce the size of the image a bit. We would be doing an apt-get clean, and we would be removing all the lib files that are there over here. Once it is done, this is the usual Jenkins startup script that we have. So we will be switching back to the user Jenkins. We'll be exposing the port 8000. We would be exposing the port 8080. The volume that we would be mounting to is var Jenkins underscore home. And the startup script that Jenkins by default uses is jenkins.sh. This part is actually coming from the official Jenkins LTS image itself, so you don't have to do anything of that sort over here. Now that this Docker container has been saved, so let's actually go inside the Docker folder, lsfnl, the Docker file is there. Let's actually cat the Docker file and see if it is the same one. Yes. Now what I'll do is Docker, say, let me clear the screen, and now what I'll do is say Docker build -t. Let's tag. I'll call it as ops Jenkins, and I'll give the version as 1.0, and the current working directory is where the Docker file would be lifted up from. If you see, the base layer, that is the layer 1, that is the Jenkins LTS, is already there. This is because we already tested or ran this image on a local machine to see what the OS version is. Now, once that is done, so this is now doing an apt-get update and installing the packages. Along with it, it would also be installing unzip, curl, gnup-pg, curl Python 3, Python 3 pip. So this is the GPG package, and all of that would be installed very soon. Now, as this installation happens, the layers or the size of the Docker image would also increase because of all the packages that are being downloaded into the container. So once the container is created, the rest of the running process remains exactly same. So here, if you see, we are now installing Terraform on the container. So again, the packages are being updated, and once it is done, the installation should finish. We have also done or started the Packer installation. So the Packer installation is also happening. If you're wondering what Packer is again a tool that is used for creating images. That is the Amazon machine images, the AMIs. We can actually use Packer to create the AMIs. So please expect few videos related to AMI creation in the coming few weeks. So as you see, Packer is also installed, and we are now installing Ansible on the container. This is layer 5, and the last layer is actually exposing the ports, and we should be able to get that. The last layer is actually exporting the environment variables for this Ansible installation. So once that is done, we should be able to run our Docker container. Ansible done, and it's exporting the layers to the image. And once all the layers are compressed and bound together, we should get the Docker image. So if I do a Docker images, I should be able to see the ops Jenkins version 1.0 being created 14 seconds ago, and the size of this is 1.69 GB. Now to run this, very simple. What I'll do is docker run -d -p 8080. I'll map it to the 8080 port of my local system. For volumes, what I'll be doing is mapping it to the place where I have Jenkins underscore volume, and I would be mapping it to where Jenkins underscore home, and we would be providing the image name, that is of Jenkins, and the version is 1.0, and rest can be left as it is. So you'll see that the Docker image is running. So the container is actually running, and we should be able to access the container on our browser. So let's actually go to the browser and see if we are able to run the container or not. Looks like the page isn't working. Let's actually reload and see what happens. Actually do a Docker PS just to see that the container is still running. Yes, it is. We should be able to run the thing. So let's actually try again. Let's actually see the logs of the Docker container itself. So Docker logs and the container ID should give us what is the actual thing that's happening. No errors that I see. So let's actually load. So it actually took a bit longer for the Jenkins to start. Could be because of other processors that are running on this laptop as of now. So Jenkins is requesting us to please wait for the installation to complete successfully. And once this is completed, we should be able to log into the system and configure it. So this has now started the initialization, and very soon we should be able to get the admin password that we can use to unlock Jenkins in the logs itself. So let's actually wait and see how soon we get that log. So Jenkins is taking a bit longer. What we can do is run a separate instance of the same container and see if that works. This time I would not be mapping any of the volumes, and let's also change the port number. And see what happens. The 9090 on the left hand side is the port number of the EC2 host or the laptop on which I'm running, and 8080 on the right side of the run command is that of the container itself. Now, I guess there is some problem with the volume that we were using earlier. Now, if I do a logs, Docker log for this guy, we should be able to get the admin password, which I was mentioning earlier, and I should be able to log in. Now, if you see, the other installation is also ready. and there's already a username and password that was created and kept from a previous installation. Because the volume is the same, I should be getting something similar. On the newer installation, which is running on 9090 without any port, you would see that it is asking us to install the packages and dependencies, which is very much okay to be done. Let's create a test job, that is test installations, and let's create a pre-started project and let's say okay. And I'll wait for this to come up, and we'll go to the build step and click on execute shell. And here what I would be doing is doing a Terraform hyphen hyphen version. And then what I would be doing is a Packer hyphen hyphen version. And then what we can also do is an Ansible hyphen hyphen version, so that we could get the list or the versions of these packages that get installed on the system. So I'll do a build now, and this should actually give us, if the installations are pretty much okay, this should give us the um, versions that are there. So as you see, version 1.9.7 of Terraform has been installed. Packer, the version is 1.11.12, and the Ansible version that is installed is 2.17.4. So this way you could do the setup and installation of your packages on the custom Jenkins. Just make sure that if you are using Jenkins slash Jenkins LTS, this is the default image for your installation or for running Jenkins. Now you would be getting a Debian image out of the box, and you could follow any installation steps of any of the packages that you're looking for Debian based systems, and that should work properly on your Jenkins installation. If you, I hope this video was informative. Please do support us by liking the video and sharing this video across with multiple folks. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Keep having a great day.